that's officially over there. You have to move the player now. Did you see the actual, they talked about the puck battle in the corner, Hayes, but if you watch the whole shift.
We have the shift. I think Megan, she can play it up on TSN 4, and we'll talk over it. And if you missed it on radio, it's out there. This is one of the most pathetic shifts I've ever seen in the NHL. This is James Harden in hockey. This guy's quit. This guy is quit, man. And I don't blame Tortorella for a second. Torts has a reputation of flying off the handle and snapping on players. Any coach with half a brain watches that shift and goes, "You're not playing again." And now I don't know if he's going to play again, period. They may not put him back in the lineup. But he does it, not one stop, not one start, no, like just floating around. And this battle in the corner, what the hell was that?
Okay, but Hayes, here's a couple things about the situation. Maybe that's Dubois. I'm assuming that's Dubois because he's too good of a player, and I'd like to think he has too much pride. Maybe that's his way of saying this is going to the next level now. You haven't traded me, and I don't want to be here, and I'm done faking it, acting like I am.
You don't act like that during the game.
But be a pro, man.
I get it. I
be
think,
a pro.
Okay, then there's one other option. Don't show up to the rink. Don't go out there and embarrass yourself like that. But that's telling everyone this is it, and I'm done. And
that's worse than Harden for me. Worse than Harden. To do that during the game, that's worse.
Oh, I'm sure there's times where you're pissed at like Mo or Laviolette, right? Like we've all been pissed at our coaches. But you have enough pride to go, to hell with them. I'm going to play hard. Like, I'm showing up. Like, the worst thing Dubois can do is go and skate around like that. Because if I'm a manager looking at that.
Guys, the one bad element was the battle in the corner. What was going on?
Dude,
what was
it's a lazy change. He's not one stop and start, man. Like, you know that. No, in the NHL, you stop and start. You don't just float around in a circle. He almost runs into his defenseman in his own corner because he's I know he's swinging back for support, but there isn't support. He runs into the guy.
Yeah, I think
it's awful.
I think he's in his own head too. That's to your point. Like I think it's a tough scenario if you're in a real bad spot mentally, and obviously as professionally, that's how you go out and play. He may think he's working hard, but then he'll look at that shift and go, you know what? That's not even scratching the surface of what I'm capable of. What worries me is now it's come to a head. So now what next? Because
they can't put him on the ice again, I don't think.
But Kekalainen is not going to go, okay, I'm going to trade him for Al's brother just to get him out of here. Like, that's a number one centerman.
Yeah, this is a real conundrum.
Let me pose both of you a question then. If I'm a manager that is looking at Dubois, am I enticed by this, saying, okay, this guy doesn't like what's going on, so that's the effort I'm going to get? Like, if he doesn't like my contract negotiation, am I going to pay a king's ransom for that and have him take his net and go home 2 years in because he doesn't like what's going on in my organization?
It would sour me, for sure. I mean, he's still a very good player. Someone is going to pay the price.
That's right, they are, because he's a 6'3" centerman who has elite skill, and if he puts it together, he's still a pretty good player, regardless of the shift. And Frank, I think Frank wrote a piece on it today saying the shift is not going to deter anybody, they will pay the price. If maybe Montreal wants to look at that and says, we've been looking for this guy for a long time. We do like Kotkaniemi, we do like Suzuki, but maybe this is something we have to do.
I agree, but okay, let's just say it's Montreal. Marc Bergevin, a couple years ago complained about the attitude of his group. Do you remember that? Remember, he took so much heat in that market from Tony Marinaro and those guys because he was like, I'm all right with my group and where they're headed, but they need an attitude adjustment.
Well, so Drouin didn't exactly have a sparkling rep in Tampa, and he pulled the trigger on that, so I don't think he'd be shy on this one.
Well, my point being is that if he gets there and he can't handle the pressure of the market and starts floating around like that, now all of a sudden you're in one.
Well, the kid's put the spotlight on himself. Don't kid yourself. This kid is now under the gun where he's going to have a camera isolated on him every shift he plays the rest of his career.
Right. I agree. I love him as a player because I think you're right.
I'm a big fan of the way he plays.
But that pisses me off. Like as a former pro, it pisses me off.
We got to be consistent here. Like, again, James Harden, we all said, man, that was brutal. I can't believe he went out that way. I think this looks worse.
Dude, I think I love you guys, but I think you're overreacting to that shift.
Harden, yeah. Okay. Well, you're not wrong about it, but by all accounts, it's been more than one shift. Okay. And the context is he wants out. He's made it clear. He's not budging. And this is how he's going to perform for you. If you're not going to grant him his wish, this is what's coming.
I look at that shift and I go, maybe pull your head out of your ass, bud. You give me 3 or 4 of those in a row, then you can go take your gear off, and I'm not seeing it again.
Tortorella said it's been a steady decline.
Okay, then screw it. He deserves it.
Yeah,
well,
listen,
I agree with you. In a vacuum, like it's one shift, and we've all had bad shifts and bad games. I understand that, but I think there's a bigger animal here at play, and like I said, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back with Torts, and was like, I've had enough of this. Come and sit beside me. Like there's got to be, maybe it's a work ethic in practice. Like I think there's so much more behind the curtain that we're not privy to. I would love to hear the story, but we won't hear the story until something happens. You know that. We're not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not gonna get
and again, to get back to the Harden comparison, Harden didn't do anything illegal. But Harden, showed up late at the club, making it clear. But when he got on the court, by all accounts, he was playing. And he was working and he was putting up his shots. But he made it very clear. Did it in a different way. But I didn't like that. I didn't like the way he went out. I didn't like the way he sabotaged the team. And I don't like this with Dubois. And I have no connection to the Houston Rockets. I have no connection to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Harden didn't come to the Raptors. Dubois is not coming to the Leafs.
And they're both
it's not going to affect my life.
Hayes. They're in the same position. Harden wanted out. And when you really want out and you want to make it known, I'm done now. Like, I'm really done. I'm not going to sit around here and play more games for you. Then DeMarcus Cousins talked about it. What's his nickname? Boogie Cousins? He was like, this nonsense is ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. So that's what you do when you want out. I've played with guys that want out. They just start doing stuff where it's like, okay, we can't have this around here. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to deal with it, so pull the trigger. The guy doesn't want to play there. And for some reason, I understand that, because I wasn't a good enough player to say, you know what, I don't want to play here. I didn't want to play in Greensboro, Carolina, with 40 fans and a pig running around in the stands. Like, I thought I was in the NHL. I was like, this sucks. Wow. But I thought that was my team. You gotta suck it up for a couple of years until you get to Raleigh.
That's it. It's two separate issues. I don't have an issue with the player making a determination on his career. I don't have a problem with a guy saying, you know what, this isn't for me.
Okay, but in your head, he should have just stayed home instead of going out.
No, I think he should show up and play, though. That's my point. Like, even if you want out, you go out there and you say, boys, listen, I'm not changing my mind. I want out. It's made it abundantly clear.
How do you mentally give your heart and soul to a team you don't want to? It's impossible.
Because every 2 weeks you still cash $500,000. That's why. And because you love the game, you love the sport. Even though you want out, it doesn't mean you don't love your teammates anymore. So you don't like the team. You don't like the town. You don't like the GM. You don't like the owner. But you're jumping over the boards with 4 other guys who are like, let's go try to pull something together here. That's the point.
And the thing is I guess my question would be, what changed from in the playoffs last year where he was an absolute beast against the Leafs?
He played great in that round.
He played great.
Yep.
Amy, I think that little tirade by Torts in the playoffs was something. I think that was a tipping point where he's like, I don't want to listen to this garbage anymore.
It might be. Then you know what? Guess what? Like, what team is going to acquire him then? So you immediately cut out Washington. Can't get him because Lavi likes to yell. Who else? Like, what other teams have a yeller? Craig Berube, you can't, because Berube will give him a little look. Arizona can't get him because Rick Tockett's going to give you the horse eye. Like, if that's the case, then that's disappointing, because I think there's way more to this, and I think he's a fantastic player. I just want to see this, and I know this would be an unreal troll drop. What if he showed up in the fat suit like Harden?
That would be outstanding. What if baby blue warm-up gear, just decked out in baby blue.
Like, you should tell the trainers, like, give me a boy's small jersey, and I'll just wear it in warm-up, and it looks skin tight
awesome.
and look like I'm fat.
Boiler out, just launching pucks into the stands, missing tape-to-tape passes.
Just high-stepping like the Hanson brothers out there. It'd be awesome. Like, I think at some point, obviously something's going to give here, and I hope that Columbus gets fair value for him, and I hope he moves on, because I don't want to look at him in a bad light. He's a fantastic player, and he's a young guy, but I'm just disappointed on how this is unfolded. And keep in mind, like, Drouin had a problem in Tampa, and Stevie Yzerman said, go home. Like, I'll trade you at my convenience.
We're ready to sign. And I think that is probably what's going to happen next. Like, I wouldn't be surprised now if Dubois' representation is calling the team saying, we're not going through that again. Yes, my client is not happy with the way he played, but he's not going to be the John Tortorella whipping boy on the way out, because I think Tortorella is spiteful a little bit as well. I think he's been through it before. I think he likes his team. His team works hard for him, and he's probably like, I'm going to go at this guy, and he probably is. And I don't think Dubois is helping it. I think it starts with Dubois, but now I think if Tortorella's officially turned on you, then I'm not sure how it's going to get better.
I just got a note from Bob McKenzie who said, if Torts is saying it's been a steady decline for Dubois, then why was the ice about the same for the previous 4 games? 1830, 1724, 1503, 1742. And guess what? That wasn't from Bob McKenzie. That was from Joe from the Bridge.
Wow. Joe from the Bridge.
So there hasn't been a
what the hell's his point?
I don't know what the hell his point is.
I knew it would bug you.
Why would you read that out?
That doesn't have anything to do with anything. But
play that the Billy Madison, where it's like
we're all dumber for reading that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like there's nothing to do with that.
I'm just saying, Joe from the Bridge is saying there hasn't been a decline from Torts on the ice time in previous games. They are facts, not from Bobby Mack. From Joe from the Bridge.
Joe from the Bridge.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.